This is Two Nerds and a Joke with Robert and Ernie. They are the red shirts of podcasting.
Okay, thank you, disembodied hot girl voice. This is Two Nerds and a Joke. I'm Ernie.
Hi, Ernie. And I'm Robert.
And, well, downloading us and giving us a chance here. We hope that you'll find this fun.
Yes.
Not really looking to like teach people anything or give people insight. This is just something that Robert and I have been discussing for a while, and we feel that we should take a little delve into this genre.
Yeah, well, it's not just one genre. We have to remember it's a lot of different genres because when you really talk about being a nerd, you're really talking about so many things, and we really want to try and capture it all. And we want a lot of audience participation as to what we should talk about. We're gonna have random guests and stuff that talk about all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, the one of the things I wanted to do this for was because, of course, there's the popular nerd theory and nerd conception going around where, we're kind of hapless or we have some sort of like mental defect. I feel just fine. I think that the portrayals are.
Self-delusion is the first step, I believe. But go
I,
ahead.
I feel fine. And everybody comes to that point in their life where they're just like, you know what, this is me. I'm not going to like hide it or like tuck it away anymore. I mean, right now is a good time to be a nerd.
It's one of the best. We are in our golden age, and I think one of the biggest things to think about when you're talking about being a nerd is there is no one type of nerd. And I think that's one of the things we're going to try to make sure we do on this show is accept all nerds for all their weirdness. Everybody from the body piercing nerds to the Star Wars nerds to so forth and so on. Everything from anime and back again. Even my personal favorite, the Pokemon nerds, because I do shout out to my Pokemon fans out there, because that's a group too.
Yeah, that's all you. So, um, you already know my view on that. Anyways, that's good for. And one of the things that we're going to do in this show is we're going to do a lot of verses. So it's a lot of back and forth. And these are probably conversations that you probably had with people in your own circles, and hopefully you included in ours. We do subscribe to social media, to Nerds and a Joke. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Pinterest.
Yes, and we will add in we'll have a little clip on that so we can find all of our info. When you look at the information section, we'll have all the addresses and stuff. We do have more media that will be coming. We'll have a sponsor, at least one, if not more. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, please, give us your money. We're always good with getting your money.
Yeah, we're not going to do anything righteous with it. We're gonna
No.
we're gonna spend it on hookers and blow.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. No, we're not. No, we're going to upgrade our technology so that it can provide even better resources. One of the things we want to be able to do is I do conventions with, dropping a spot here, Owl's Treasures. We do a retro video game and booth at a lot of the Florida cons. SuperCon coming up, advertisement there. And we're going to want to do video podcasts of the con and walk around and talk to people and interview some of the cosplayers and all that kind of, talk to some video game nerds, that kind of fun stuff. And obviously we need some tech to do that. So, your funding will help support a better podcast for everybody. And isn't that what it's all about in the end?
And Robert's hooker addiction.
Look,
So-
they come to me, okay? I don't go to them. They come to me.
So going back to it, I bet some people are like, well, why the hell should we listen to you guys, and things like that. I think for one, neither one of us are like overtly like popular or powerful.
I am very well, no, you are a man of the people, but I am popular in my own right. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are popular. People do know you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We both work together.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we work for unnamed global conglomerate, I guess you would call it.
We're a corporation that is well known in the world that is the world.
Yeah, that is the world. Yes,
Yeah.
like Fortune 100, like
Yeah.
the top 100. Yeah.
Yes. We shall never mention their names.
We will never mention names unless they start giving us money, and then we're company men.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
But we will tell stories of work, to be fair.
Well, yes, because I'm sure, just like our listening audience, people do find that their personal life and their work life kind of bleed over to one another, and they kind of let a little bit of their own personality, their own little, come out of their shell a little bit at work, let people in, like, maybe everyone goes out with the crew and goes out to a movie or something like that, or hooks up for, like, just discussions over coffee and things like that,
Or
maybe a book or something.
So, anyway, so we are going to have a lot of interviews, as was mentioned.
Yes.
We're going to interview friends mostly, not, well, I'll say them, we'll not call them, what was the word for it? They're not like super smart about a subject or specialists or like,
We're not dealing with pros.
right, but we're dealing with quasi-pros, people who do things with cosplay, with LARPing, people who will have some animal conversation, animal talk on here every once in a while, pets, because there are nerd pets, pet nerds, people who collect or obsess over their animals. Those are nerd categories. I will fight for that one. And then we also, of course, will occasionally have some interesting tidbits and knowledge. Maybe we'll do some health stuff. But whatever. I mean, it's not like we have a standard forum. It's just whatever hits our boat, our button, makes us squee with joy.
Well, one of the things is that, being a self-proclaimed nerd, being nerd for many years, it's one of those things where all of our interviewees will have in common is that they themselves find themselves nerdy in whatever it is that they do.
Exactly.
And they're not doing it for, like, financial reasons or, like,
Right.
professional reasons. They're doing it because that's what they genuinely are. That's their personality. That's who they are. And
Yeah.
that's what all this is about, right? I mean,
Exactly.
cosplay, the LARPing, all of that.
Disney. Don't forget Disney.
Oh, gosh, Disney.
Yes. Disney's done good things for us. Star
And they're
Wars.
not paying us for this podcast,
No,
so you
they're not.
definitely just
No.
name drop. You're a name dropper.
I'm a name dropper because I know people who know people who know people. All right. So that's it. Do we have anything else to add to the intro?
Well, I would have to say about myself, Star Wars, number one.
Oh, we're going to talk about ourselves.
Yes, you have to. We got to give the people something that they want to listen to. So
They don't.
for me, I'm the self-proclaimed Star Wars nerd. So anything Star Wars, I'm in. They have my money.
Yeah.
I'm all into it.
Yes.
I cannot tell you the number of times I've watched the original trilogy, specifically the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
I can't give you a number. It's impossible.
Right. And he absolutely, and one thing you'll find about Ernie is he adores the prequels. He thinks they're just God's gift. I mean,
Awful. No, I can't say that. I shouldn't say that because they serve a purpose.
Thank you. Okay.
I personally did not like them.
Okay,
but I
that's for the
understand
verses.
why they exist.
Yes, and we'll say that they'll say that for the verses, so Ernie can get that out of his system.
Yes. Also, Star Trek.
Star Trek. Okay, a lot of stars. Anything with a star in it's good, I think, usually.
Star. Yes. Battle Beyond the Stars.
Stargate Galactica. Or Battlestar Galactica, but that's
Battlestar
Stargate.
Galactica. Stargate.
Stargate Galactica, that one too.
Yeah, Stargate Galactica. You doing a little mashup there?
That'd be a fun mashup to watch. I'd watch that.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. Yeah, all the Star Treks. Like
Yes.
Next Generation. I stopped at Deep Space Nine. I didn't go Enterprise or Voyager.
I did. I went there. I did like those.
I gave it a shot, and the only thing I liked from Voyager was 7 of 9, 6 of 9.
7 of 9. And
7 of 9, hot.
Yes, hot. Oh, and Neelix's girl. Don't forget her.
Yes, and then
Of course,
more
you
7 of 9.
you feel a little guilty though.
Why do I feel guilty? I thought
Not you personally, but I mean, a person liking her, like Neelix's girlfriend, might feel a little guilty because she's only like 4 or 5 years old. If you go by the age in the show, it's a little weird. It's a little weird, but it is what it is.
Let's see.
Family. We have family.
Yes, we do have family. I have a little girl. And I'm in my 40s, so I was born in the 70s, pretty much raised through the 80s, finished up college in the 90s, and, professional in the aughts, and now we're in the teens, I guess you would call it. Yeah, the teens.
We're growing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So seeing all the different incarnations of like, growing up, there were only 3 channels on TV to like now having like hundreds and hundreds of channels, and not including the interweb. So
There's no such thing as the interweb.
I love saying interweb though.
It's not a real word.
I love it.
So ridiculous.
So yeah, and I'm not going to say which brand I am, whether it be what type of PC I would prefer, because neither one of them are paying for us, so I'm not advertising for either one of them. But I've used both, pretty familiar with both. I'm pretty good with computers, I would say.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now is it my turn yet, or are you done?
I'm into sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, sports. Degenerate gambler.
You're a gambler.
Fantasy football.
I'm not sure that counts as gambling though. It's more of a social thing.
But no, I do gamble also. I March Madness, and every now and then I throw a side bet, maybe on some boxing, MMA, that type of thing.
No, I didn't know that. That's a new one on me.
Well, yeah, because I don't flaunt it.
But you shouldn't. It's not it's not a thing to flaunt.
Well, like I said,
Nothing against degenerate gamblers, of course, but
nothing against degenerate gambling.
the best kind.
Yeah.
You gamble degenerately.
Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't find joy in going in to casinos and dumping in money into like a slot machine. I'd much rather like use it on something that I think I have control over.
Right.
Like
because the
sports
illusion
betting.
of control is really what it's all about.
Horse racing.
Yeah, horse racing. A lot of control there. Ridiculous. All right, so my turn now.
Bad with relationships.
Oh, good Lord. Didn't we go over this already?
Did we do this?
No.
No.
We didn't. No.
No, we didn't. No, bad with relationships.
Yes. Well, we're nerds.
Shocking.
Yes, I know. We're nerds. It's expected. We don't know we don't know much about women, but nerd women.
Well, that's just it. Nerd women are kind of intimidating.
How are
at
nerd
times.
women because they have to work harder to be nerds?
Well, it's kind of like when I find out that they're nerds. Usually it's like, okay, pretty girl, she's good to talk with, and then you find out she's a nerd. You're like, ooh, wow. Yeah, this is a whole new level here. I got to kick up my game here.
Yeah, and then of course it's all about whose nerd is bigger, and
Well, that's true.
she's a girl at the end of the day, so she's going to automatically win because she's female and she's a nerd. There's just no comparison.
Yeah, but I usually end up getting like the vampire nerd girl or something like that.
Nothing wrong with the vampire nerd girl.
Little goth.
There's nothing wrong with little goth, actually.
No, I'm not
Goth
knocking
is hot.
it.
I'm just
Goth-
saying, goth is
Some
hot.
goth is hot.
Well, some goth is just scary.
Yes, some of it can be scary.
Absolutely scary. All right, so my name's Robert. I'm going to go by Robert.
Thank
Ernie's
you.
going to go by Ernie. Yes.
That's good.
Clear
Glad we
that
got
up.
this straight.
Yeah, you get this straight. I also have a daughter, like Ernie does. Mine's a little bit older than his. I also have a son, and I have a girl. I have a female in my life that is a nerd, very heavy nerd.
So what we're saying is that, we found others to procreate with.
Yes. Well, I'm not procreating anymore. I got mine too. I'm good. Maybe you're procreating some more. I don't know.
I don't know if I.
Okay. Well, I'm just
I
saying.
am seeing somebody though.
Yes.
Well, we're dating. We're an
Yes.
item.
There you go.
We're exclusive.
Yeah. Well, we're exclusive until you find something.
No, I'm not even looking. No, no, I'm holding on like grim death here.
Yes, he is. He is the type. He will obsess until you tell him to let go, forcefully.
With restraining orders.
Yes, always with the restraining orders. But yeah, so I call myself a broad nerd. I don't obsess over any one thing. If you look at my desk at the job that we both work at, but it's kind of all over the place. I've got Disney stuff up.
To be fair, he just inherited that desk.
I did. It's fantastic. I have to spread
He
out.
couldn't even wait for the body to be cold.
Oh, I tell you what,
He's that guy.
I am.
He's that guy.
I am that guy.
He's that guy.
I do. I'm staring right now, actually, at a glorious artwork piece by a friend of mine of Spider-Gwen, one of my favorites, spiders out of the multiverse storyline. I also have Disney stuff at my desk. I have Star Wars stuff. I have some sort of tattoo from Mortal Instruments City of Bones. I don't know what that is, but it's the stamina symbol, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully it'll help. But yeah, I'm kind of across the board. As Ernie is obsessive about his Star Wars rants, I'm obsessive about just anything in general. Just depends on my mood of the day. I'm more of a critic, I would say, of things than I am Ernie is. Would you agree with that? That I'm more of a critic than you are?
Yes, you do approach that thing, and you kind of like to
Tear it apart.
bloviate.
Well, I no, that means I just talk a lot, but I do like to tear things apart and kind of figure them out. That's definitely my thing.
Yeah, definitely. Robert's the guy that if you like something, he's gonna poke a hole in it.
Well, and it may be a legitimate hole. Maybe
He's gonna he's the kid with the pin, and he's gonna pop your balloon
But you know what?
because you like your balloon. You like it. It could be a perfectly good balloon,
It's not a good balloon.
and he's gonna pop it because he doesn't have it.
No, it's not that I don't.
He
No.
finds no enjoyment in that.
Well, I find no enjoyment in the balloon because the balloon isn't worth having. That's what it is. You see.
That's just awful. You must have been had a miserable child.
I think it is, but we aren't going to get into this stuff. My childhood was rather miserable, thank you. But nerd is what saved me, and that
Nerd is what saved you.
nerd is.
Which probably saved a lot of us. I grew up in the military, so moving from base station to station, you had to be a little nerdy because I was an only child, so I had to preoccupy myself.
Yeah, I have a brother, so we basically recreated all the old X-Men stories with figures and Lego blocks and all that stuff. So that was kind of my existence. So yeah, we definitely grew up, and nerd is I think for a lot of people a survival tool. You find something that's fiction, that's not real, and you kind of use that to keep a solid grip on reality, if you will.
Well, yeah, my reality was like the stuff I was bringing from base to base. So I had like a toy box, and like always, I tried to keep my toys nice and neat so that way they would last. Because heaven knows if I'd be able to get a replacement. Because living overseas, it's not like you could just go down the street to a Toys R Us. It's you have to go to the base exchange and see what they had, or maybe they could order it or something like that.
Definitely.
Which a lot of times they never placed orders, but you would just wait for a shipment to come in
And hope for the best.
and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Like my two most cherished items from my childhood, I want to say from 1980, I had they were tall figures that I got for Christmas, Darth Vader
Nope.
and Boba Fett. They were like 12 inches. They were
Nice.
huge.
Do you still have them?
No, long gone.
Oh. See, they're most is precious, most prized, and they're gone. God, life sucks sometimes.
Yeah, but if I could have anything, it would be those two back. Like of all the toys I've had over the years that I've played with and wrecked and destroyed and what have you, those are the two I'd probably want to have back. And I'm sure there's probably someone in our audience is probably thinking the same thing. Like, wow, what if I could have that one thing back? And that would be it for me. It'd be those two figures. If I could get those back, and I've looked for them, I just don't. I think the people who have them kept them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Well, see, for me, it's similar lines though. I would give, and I've seen it, but it's outrageous. I mean, it's not outrageous for what it is, but the Ewok Village, that would be my toy. And a weird one, actually. I used to have I still do, but Goofy is kind of one of my character heroes from the Disney realm of existence, and I had a Goofy stuffed animal that was actually a director Goofy. And that one I've never seen. And that was kind of cool. So, again, random, kind of all over the place, but that's kind of where I'm at with what I would want to give my IT to get back in from my childhood.
Yeah, it's just
There's always that. There's always that.
there's always that toy. I was a little bit of a gamer, very in the infancy of gaming. My first system was an Odyssey.
Wow.
Magnavox Odyssey.
Wow, you are old.
Yeah, and then and we were able to get, and I think they sold them at Sears or JCPenney's, one of the two. And my parents got like maybe 8 or 9 games before they discontinued it. So imagine a console that had like a QWERTY pad in it, but you never used it for anything really. Like there was only a couple games you could use the QWERTY pad for, and the controllers were actually like wired, very short wires to the console.
Wow. That's definitely weird. My first gaming system was a Nintendo, moved up to the Nintendo 64 and the Super Nintendo, and I moved through the line of Nintendo products. Then switched over to Xbox for half a heartbeat, but really I've stayed PlayStation and Nintendo really have been my big thing. Not a big fan of the Wii, but there are positives too. There are some games that are good for it. But I'm an active gamer now. I think more so than even you are, Ernie, aren't you? What'd you say?
Yeah, I would say you are. I kind of lost it due to the fact of, kind of priorities changing in life. You kind of put things on the back burner. I would say prior to like having my daughter, I probably played the occasional game, and even before I got into like relationships, I would put in some serious time in on some games.
I still
Some
put
serious
some
time.
serious time in some games. I just have my kids play with me now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine's still not of that age yet. I mean, right
No,
now
not yet. He'll
yeah,
get there.
yeah. She's actually she likes the driving simulator, like the
Oh,
like the
okay.
Gran Turismo. Yeah,
Oh, nice. Those are fun
yeah,
though. Those are fun.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll teach you how
But
to drive.
I would say from Nintendo, like, well, Atari, I had my games from Atari that I loved,
Of course.
but then it didn't get serious for me until I got, oh man, should I do a name drop?
But you already did Atari. Isn't that a name drop enough? I did Disney. How much bigger can you get?
Well, I was gonna say my first computer was an Apple IIc.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
yeah.
Maybe we could blurt it out or something.
No, well, we could blurt it out, but it doesn't matter. It's Apple.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a 128K with a 5 1/4 floppy drive, and it had a monochromatic monitor that came with it, and it had a joystick. That I didn't even have a mouse. I had the joystick.
I think I'm still running off that model, actually.
Nice, nice. 128Ks, 5 1/4 floppy drive.
God, I
And let me
remember
tell.
floppies. Do you remember zip drives?
Yes, I remember Zips.
I had a zip drive and a zip drive player when I was in college. Can you imagine that?
Oh gosh, how like essentially like that's kind of like the equivalent of like going from Wright Brothers to like the Apollo 11 capsule.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Like that's how I feel like these past couple technology leaps have gone.
Oh yeah. Now it's
Like
all in the ether, all in the hyperbole of the cloud. I mean, it's all cloud stuff now. I mean, I don't have.
love the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud's fantastic. Gets you stuff everywhere, especially pictures. That's what I've been a big fan
Yeah,
of. This is conversing on pictures.
pictures. But yeah, but I started gaming on the PC, and the first one was called King's Quest, and it was like 8 5 1/4 floppy drives,
Jeez.
and it was monochromatic, so I didn't have any color until they came out with like a cable that I could plug in to my TV.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
fun.
that didn't come out. That was like 1984-ish. And there was also Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was solely text. And that was the thing, like a lot of the adventure games were text, so you had to like imagine them. So from that I spun into D&D, got
Wait,
really good at D&D.
D&D, the live action, dice and the whole kit and caboodle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we never painted we never had like actual figurines like the real serious stateside guys had. We just had like, we would have we would rotate, like someone would be the dungeon master,
Mm.
you
Now,
know,
would
we
you
don't
actually use a board though? Because I mean, I still
no,
do D&D. So
no, no board.
no board.
No board.
Ah. So it didn't
We,
matter feet and stuff. You weren't worried about that.
no, we would basically just sit there with our own sheets,
Ah, okay.
like our own character sheets,
Right.
and essentially we would use like a separate sheet of paper for every meet, so that way we could know how many hit points, how many experience points to keep track of,
Right.
and
Right.
then we would make a new character sheet the next time we met.
Oh, that's kind of fun. No, that gives a lot of variety.
Yeah.
That's cool. We stick with the same characters because we usually do like a continuous storyline over multiple sessions. I'm still playing. I'm in a game right now. I'm actually playing a Minotaur. And we're doing it's the same thing. I mean, we have a map and the character sheets have shifted slightly, but it's the same thing. I mean, it's a lot of imagination.
No, yeah, we did everything solely on imagination. So we would either meet up like at our house, like sometimes I'd have like sleepovers at my place, or I'd stay over at my friend's house, and we'd do that until like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
Drinking Dr Pepper until like 2 in the morning or something ridiculous like that.
See,
Um,
dropping again.
I name dropped, yes, yes, product dropping too.
There you go, product dropping.
But yeah, so, from there, I still play sports. I was in ROTC. things like that.
You were actually more athletic than I was.
How's that funny?
It's funny because,
What?
I'm skinnier than you are now.
I've slowed down.
No, there's a difference between slowing down and, like, reversing. But, whatever.
Hey, look, here's what happened the last time I went to the doctor. And this is maybe true for some people out there, but like
It's ridiculous, by the way.
all right, I'm I would say I am under tall.
They're significantly under tall.
Significantly under tall. I mean,
and I'm of average height.
For my weight, I should be around 6'2". So, but
ironically, for my weight, I should be about 6.
So,
but I'm 5'11", and you're shorter than me. We weigh almost the same amount, I think.
Yes, we do.
I just hide it better. I'm actually overweight too, but you can't tell me as much as you. That's why I wear jackets all the time.
So,
layers, my friend, layers.
So, I would have to say the nice thing about it is that when I went to the doctor, because I was like, oh fuck, man, it's another year,
right?
And I feel awful, and I know I'm heavy. I know I don't exercise as much. I don't eat well.
But when you went to the doctor that time, though, you had not been sleeping like at all.
No,
you had to put that out there,
Yeah.
You had not taken care of yourself.
No. I basically made it all about work, all about my daughter.
The daughter part's not the bad part, though. It was the part that was killing you.
Yeah, I was working crazy hours. Yeah. I mean, just basically trying to substitute one vice for another. Just instead of sulking and doing all the other stuff, I basically worked. So
you sulk very well.
Thank you. Yeah. It was actually built to my schedule.
Was it? You timed it?
Yes.
This is my sulk time.
No, it was wallowing in self-pity.
And was it just wallowing? I think you were.
It was just wallowing.
Just wallowing. There's a lot of wallowing.
A lot of wallowing. But I got to the doctor and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, man, I did all the tests. They basically took down all my numbers. They drew blood. They did the whole heart thing. And I'm like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the bomb to drop. And he comes and he goes, well, you're all healthy. You're not pre-diabetic. You don't have a problem with cholesterol. You're not on the danger zone for any of these things. You're good. You're healthy. And I'm like, are you sure, Doc? I mean, look at me here. I'm like hoping. I don't know why I was hoping for anything bad, but when he came back with that, and I mean, the only thing is I need to get rid of the mass around the middle.
Yeah. Which is funny because I'm about the same weight, but I'm taller than you, and I have horrible vision. I have high.
Yeah, I don't even need glasses.
Yeah, you don't need glasses. I have horrible vision. I have high cholesterol. I have my knees hurt. I mean, just all kinds of issues. And you're over there, nothing's wrong. I was like, son of a. Some guys have all the luck.
I don't even suffer from allergies. I mean, I suffer from when I go into work and it changes of environment, but that's about it.
Well, that's workitis. That's natural.
Yeah, that's workitis.
Yeah. Can't blame that. All right, so that's us. I mean, is that everything? I think that's everything for now.
I think that's everything for now. Yeah.
And we'll get into more. So again, we're gonna have a few different pieces to the show, but welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy listening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait for our listeners to learn more about us and hear some more about our world. And I would love to hear more about our listeners. So
yes,
hit us up. Hit us up with like ideas that you would like to see on the show, and please be constructive. I mean, I know we probably suck.
We do.
I mean, but we're not paid, and we're not charging you for this. This is free.
Well, and to be fair, we know we suck, so telling us we suck really doesn't do anything good to anybody because we understand that. Move on. Move on. All right, I think that's good enough of our intros we're gonna get. We're gonna move into our first segment.
Versus. So the premise of the versus then is going to be that you're going to obviously take the new stuff, right?
What?
Well, the prequels, of course.
Never.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take the prequels?
Well, for one, all right. I don't know how else to articulate this, but
they suck.
When the well, I couldn't have done it better. I just wouldn't have done that. Ooh. That's my whole thing.
Okay. I mean, again, my opinion has always been that it tells the story. The story needs to be told somehow.
It was all marketing. There was a little bit of storytelling, and there was a lot of marketing in there.
At least there wasn't Coca-Cola ads in it. Could have been worse.
Oh my gosh. So you had the original 3 movies come out, then there was that long hiatus, and then all of a sudden George Lucas says, "You know what? I'm coming up with stories. Those movies are not going to be called Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. They're going to be 4, 5, and 6 going forward. So I'm going to write episodes 1, 2, and 3."
Okay, right.
So I'm like, okay, fine. You want to do that? That's fine. I'm in. You have my money. I'm in. So he spends what, 4, 5, 7 years making episode 1?
Is it really that long?
He started early, I thought. I could be mistaken, but it took him a while.
Hold on. We're gonna look it up.
Okay.
Star Wars Episode 1
development. And he was notorious for having these. So the myth is that he had this entire story like in some sort of like yellow legal notepad or something like that.
Well,
Remember the yellow paper?
Yeah.
So that's
how he did the original ones too, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Apparently he had it all mapped out, and his idea was, well, there's no way no studio is going to give me enough money to do this stuff, so I'm just going to take episode 4, and then he decided to call it A New Hope,
right,
and make that the movie. He releases the movie, it does phenomenal, and then he walks away from it.
Right. Well, it says here, it's 22 years after the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 16 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay, yeah. And let me tell you, we were all chomping out the bit, because remember, the first thing that came out were the toys.
What was the movie? What was that movie? Remember that movie? The one you had me watch. What was that? The nerd movie where the whole thing is him going to see...
Oh, Fanboys.
Fanboys. Yes.
Yes. All right.
That was a
All right, kudos to Fanboy, low budget indie flick.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yes. And but the biggest star of that movie for me, I think, was Liam Neeson. I think he was probably the best one of the group. Him or what's his name? Black dude. Can't think of him. Come on, help me here.
Mace Windu?
Yes, Mace Windu. And he had a purple lightsaber. How can you go wrong with a purple Samuel L. Jackson.
All right. I'm okay with the casting, because who wouldn't sign on to that movie? But here's what you had. To me, it didn't make sense. The Phantom Menace itself didn't make sense.
Right.
What did it really set up? It's supposed to be an intro. I get it. So you have Anakin, who's like, what, an 8-year-old boy. You have Padme, who's like a teen? 16, 18,
yes.
19?
No, 16. You know why? And here's how I know how old she is.
Oh my gosh! Let's go ahead.
The Weird Al Yankovic song. Though he's just 9 and she's 16. That line is in the song. So that's how I know. He was 9 and she's 16.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay. He began writing it in 1994.
Okay. And it released in 99?
Yes. Now here's the thing. You're right. It was off of legal pad, but the screenplay was an outline, a 15-page outline that he originally wrote in 76, which is why I was saying to you last time we talked about this that it's really about a story that he already saw. He envisioned the prequels. And yes, maybe a little marketing heavy, but this was part of his original plan.
Yeah, but even still, let's just say he released these things in order. They would have done awful.
And that's why he didn't do them. Absolutely. If he released these first 3, people would have been bored out to tears. I mean, especially the first one.
Well, yeah, because it's like, who are these people? Why do I care about them?
Right. The new generation, or the later ones that were earlier, if you will, were more interesting. You started with the action. You started with the fight. You know, I mean, and there is a lot of holes in the original 3, or the new original prequels. Sorry, we'll stick with prequels. How about that? Yeah, we can keep it straight.
Okay.
But there's some plot holes up front. I mean, and you complained about this, but I felt it was decent. The whole midichlorian thing.
God, don't get me started on that. I want to get started on the whole like okay, they're at war because of trades and taxes and negotiations.
Well, one of the best lines is when Padme says when she's in the council, and so this is how democracy dies, with cheers and applause.
Oh gosh.
But you know what's funny though, even though it's heavily political and I'm not a big fan of politic movies, it's still applicable today. I mean, look at what we're facing in our own world. I mean, it's just how democracy dies. It's still an applicable phrase. It's pretty. I think it's a pretty interesting thing. And again, he's getting his political nonsense, but one of the best scenes in the movie is Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting Darth Maul.
Yes. Well, up until that point, remember, Obi-Wan was the first Jedi to kill a Sith in 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because remember, they were saying, oh, the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years. Their ways are gone. How could that be? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, ignorance is bliss, don't you know?
Yeah.
Well, they kept saying, though, that there's something wrong. They couldn't sense things, that I felt like someone was blocking or whatever. Which is interesting because that whole theory about, and spoiler alert for anyone who's listening, the new movie, 7, literally talks about, this grand faceless, this huge 3D projection of whoever he is, being the ultimate Darth Maul, Darth bad guy. He could have been that guy who was blocking them from sensing stuff. He's there from the beginning.
So you're taking the leap because
It's a leap.
if you were to take the movies as they were, like and another thing about the prequels is that they basically open up with remember Star Wars, remember Luke, remember Leia, remember Han, remember Darth Vader, remember all those characters you love. None of them are in these movies.
But again, you have to take it that's before some of them were even born.
But here's the thing: give me an Easter egg or something like that. Give me a little taste of something. Oh,
fair.
Show me the Millennium Falcon getting built.
That would have been cool. I would have liked that. That would have been awesome.
I mean, if this is Tatooine, show me like the.
Well, you got to see the uncles early, but that was only at the end. But
that was at the end.
Yeah, but you want to see pod racing? You saw pod racing, and Luke does reference racing and racing engines and racing parts in the original 3. So he does mention that in there, doesn't he? When he's going into town because he wants to get engines and play with his friends and race. Right? What is he racing?
I'm gonna have to go back and look.
Yeah, but I believe.
I don't think he was racing. I think he was shooting because they make mention at 4 before the Battle of Yavin.
Right, that he's going to shooting whatchamacallit, the lizard things.
Womp rats.
Womp rats. Yes. Yes. Womp rats. But you see, the funny thing is though, is they talk about that. I know this is taking another leap, but they talk about him racing in the comics, the original 70s comics, because I remember I had some of those when he visited.
Remember, we're talking about.
I mean, is we considering two separate things, or is it considered like?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that.
Yeah. Do you have any of those comics? Because those were pretty cool.
I used to have them, but those were one of those comics that it was kind of like they were put out by Marvel.
Right.
They had great artwork. They looked exactly like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like they basically were like written during the time of Empire.
Mm.
So a lot of the ones that I was reading at the time were Luke was still training on Dagobah, and it was more stories about that, like him confronting like fears and things of that nature.
Right.
And then it would kind of like shoot off sideways, and it's kind of like, well, while he's getting trained by Yoda, what's the rebellion doing? So it was kind of like those two things.
Right, and that's kind of meh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't keep them. I kept it, so I got rid of them. Who knows if they're worth anything? I don't know. I mean, even if it is rare, if it's rare but it's not good, who cares?
Right. No, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so back to the original point. So So the real big thing with the trilogy versus the prequels is no continuity in your mind because there's no mention of the other characters until the very end, which they do mention.
Or
Mm,
the overall story with the other three when you think about it.
okay. Well, you have you've said this. What is it? The arc, classic storytelling. So go into your theory on that because that's a good theory.
So supposedly this arc that he was trying to have, you had the original three was supposed to be Luke's story. You know, Luke's like coming of age, becoming the hero, vanquishing the enemy against all odds, and you put him in some sort of internal conflict with his own friends.
And he whines a lot.
Then yes, he does. He does whine a lot.
It's a Skywalker, male Skywalker trait throughout the lineage.
Apparently.
Yes, even up to the new one.
And you go back to the prequels and you look at that one, and it's kind of like basically George Lucas wants to rewrite history and say, no, the original three were all about Darth Vader, and you got to know what happens to Darth Vader so that way you know what happens to Return of the Jedi. So all 6 movies are essentially written about Darth Vader, which I don't agree with.
Well, but they're not. Well, okay, hold on, because that's taking another leap too. I mean, and yeah, I understand where Mr. Master and Commander here wanted to go with this, but George can't. He can rewrite whatever he wants, but the movies can still speak for themselves.
But he did take liberties with making special editions,
which are all bullshit. Now, what I've heard rumor is that they are actually going to try and bring back the original trilogy in digital as they were.
Oh, they have my money. I have 5 different versions of them, I think.
Yeah, I think I only have like 2 versions right now, but I mean, obviously, you're the master and commander of all things Star Wars. That is your thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they come out with another one with one extra scene, I'm buying the whole box set. So I probably have committed myself to like I said, I think I have 4 versions of that movie, same movie, and I think that's the only movie I think I would ever do that with.
Right, collect the version. Well, I have only one of the original trilogy that's a horrible copy, but it's good. And then I have the new versions of them, all 3 of them. Again, the worst part of all of that is of course they changed some crucial scenes, and some of the add-ins weren't even that useful. weren't very who cares?
Well, and that was the other thing about watching the original, I would say 80s VHS release that came out early 80s
for VHS.
Yeah, well, the nice thing was that the mistakes and error were still in there because I guess nobody ever thought of, we should clean this stuff up. Like there was stuff with Obi-Wan's lightsaber, not, whenever it was at a certain angle, you could tell it was just a stick with a light on the end of it.
Right.
And in post-production, they were supposed to go in on the film and just use a special blue ink to make it glow or something like that. The model kits, you could see the seams in some of the model kits of the Death Star when they were blowing it up. The original Death Star explosion, I loved. I hated when they revamped the new one.
Yeah, it was the explosion with the circle ring coming out, right? It was
right, the shockwave.
Yeah, the shockwave coming out. That was pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, that's a good explosion. Well, that's the big thing. What did you? Because I know you're this level of expert on the Star Wars universe. What did they actually use for those explosions? Do you know?
What, the original ones?
Yeah.
What they did was they actually just did very high-speed cameras, and they actually just blew up a model. Mm-hmm. And then what they would do in post-production, they would just go in and do very subtle editing to the film. They would make those things kind of like fireflies. They'd intense the flame off of it. But you could tell it's just little pieces of plastic model and propellant, whatever they used to get it to explode, flinging off everywhere. So it looked like you blew up a watermelon that was on fire, essentially. Big chunks, little chunks spiraling out everywhere. What was the other thing that I saw in the first ones? You could see the seams on some of the costumes. What was that? Oh, the Stormtrooper armor always falling off of somebody. And then of course the infamous trooper when he tries to walk in through the doorway, he slams his head on and almost knocks himself out. So, I mean, I heard the story that Lucas was cutting and editing up until like the night before the premiere, before he had to release it.
That's great.
So I guess maybe some of those things slipped through, and I think those are wonderful. To go back and quote unquote, clean them up, that to me is the biggest crime.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And then going to the prequels, you watch the prequels, nobody runs in them. There's no running in them. They're all walking.
What is wrong with you in the running thing, though? You said that about, what was it? Star Trek, too.
Yeah, nobody ran in the original Star Trek.
Who cares?
Dude, it gives a sense of like, oh my gosh, I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
When in Return of the Sith,
Mm-hmm.
or Revenge of the Sith, or Return of the Sith?
Return of the Sith. There's no search. It's
Episode 3.
hold on. Episode 3. Oh, I don't know. Is it Return of the Sith?
I think it's Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge. Yes.
No,
It's Revenge.
is it Revenge or Return?
Oh my God.
Well, I know it had Sith in the title. That's how much I cared about the movie. But I take that back. I take that back.
The third one.
I take that back.
The third one. It's the best of the three.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it's Revenge of the Sith. You're right.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Out
of the three.
I watched that premiere night. I went premiere night and watched it, and I enjoyed it. I was a little sad saying, well, that's it. There's not going to be any more of them. Because that was George Lucas. George Lucas was like, you know what? I completed the story arc of Darth Vader. That's basically what the story was. And, I now have $1 billion and I live in Reseda or something like that. I don't know.
Whatever he said, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm done. I'm moving on. And he had THX Sound. He had Skywalker Ranch. He had that other empire going on where Industrial Light and Magic.
Industrial Light and Magic, yep.
Yeah.
So he had enough stuff going on there that was pretty sweet. I mean, my biggest thing with the whole thing too is the character development there was no continuity with it, because with Darth Vader in the original trilogy you got to know him at least a little bit, but in the original three there really isn't much character development of Darth Vader. At that point he kind of takes a back step as the menacing villain. Okay, he's my father, and then that's about it.
Well, I say in episode 4, because I always refer back to the original trilogy.
Mm.
In the first movie, he's a cardboard cutout villain. You know
Right.
nothing about him. You just know he's the bad guy. Everybody does what he says. Everyone's afraid of him, except for the guy on the Death Star, which is really cool. All right, he's the only guy.
There's that one guy in every organization.
He is not afraid of him, and he basically gives it to him. He's like, Vader, release him. And he goes, yeah,
He's the
that's
one
who
who's he's the same guy who says, "I don't believe in your religious mumbo jumbo."
Oh, no, that's the other guy.
That's the other
guy he's afraid. Yeah, that's the other admiral.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Moff
The one's
Tarkin.
like, let go of him, Vader. Well, it's interesting because they don't, and that's one of the things they could have done, is they could have kind of saw where those guys came from. But again, a lot of the times is that those guys were created between the prequels and the original trilogy. That's the problem.
Oh.
There's that gap there. And with that gap, you really have to fill it with something, with some movies or something between those timelines. And I think that's where they're going, don't you?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess so?
I guess so. I mean, you don't have to.
I suppose not, but it'd be fun. I mean, they're talking about...
It's fun.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be one every year.
Yeah.
They're talking that. So, we can talk about, obviously, Star Wars forever. We are, again, reading the Vader Down series of comics. Ernie has already read part of it. I haven't read it yet. I will. But we're going to get the whole thing, and then we're going to do a podcast on all of that. We're also going to be doing some other podcasts on comics, but we're going to talk about that later. Another podcast, another time, right?
Yeah, another time, another channel. No, not another channel. Our channel.
Our channel. Only our channel. Yes, only our channel. All right.
YouTube.
So you said that too.
Instagram.
YouTube. Yes. So we're going to go. We're going to cut this
Twitter.
bit, and we're going to move on. We will see you next.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. We will see you or hear you on the next podcast.
Yes, they'll hear us. We're not going to be seeing them.
Fine.
It's audio.
Fine.
Hey, thanks so much for listening and downloading our podcast here. Be on the lookout for us on these social media sites.
Yes, we're all over the place. Let me tell you a thing or two or three. We are on Twitter, Two Nerds and a Joke. You want to look for us on Pinterest. We're on Pinterest, Two Nerds and a Joke. We have a YouTube channel which will be uploading the podcast and other mini bits of different things we are doing nerd-like, and definitely going to be on there as well. So again, you want to email us, twonerds@gmail.com. Direct feedback right to us there as well. So we're all over the place. So again, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, definitely come see us there, and Instagram as well. All spots, same name, Two Nerds and Two Nerds a Joke, and you'll find us on all those places.
That's right, Two Nerds, a Joke at all those locations.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it's been real, and from Two Nerds and a Joke, have a great day, and we look forward to having you listen to us again real soon.
Yes, come back real soon.